dismantling?
Yeah, I'd say it's a series of programs that that government contractors and other private companies had. Other companies to promote DEI initiatives. It's actual roles, in some cases in the C-suite, chief diversity officers that were let go and are really struggling to find jobs in similar areas. So with those kinds of things sort of weeded out, any initiatives to bring back some of the spirit of DEI that started really even before the murder of George Floyd. Probably at least 5 or 6 years before that, we started to see a major uptick in large corporations that were getting on board with a DEI agenda. Before it became a political football, you're sort of starting from scratch now if you don't have the people and the programs in place to build off of.
Well, I guess we could get into the debate about those programs themselves and whether they really had any substantial, tangible impact. Jeff, walk us through some of that. Some of these initiatives that were out there, did they really make a significant impact, or were they just sort of paying lip service to the issue?
Well, I mean, that is a kind of a difficult question to answer. On the one hand, I mean, the boardroom diversified quickly because it's not a typical employment situation. I mean, it's not hyperbole to say that the S&P 500 boardroom that we have in place right now is the most diverse boardroom that's ever existed. White men, for the first time, are not in the majority. Black directors are around 11 to 12% from half or less than half of that when this all got started. So you have representation for members of the Black community in the boardroom, and women are at 35%, kind of stuck there, but at 35%, which is supposed to be an important number. So in the boardroom, you've had a dramatic shift in who's basically, in theory, calling the shots. And in the workforce, the demographic change seems to have more of a factor than DEI did in helping people, sort of below the boardroom level. The C-suite has seen some changes. When we did several analyses, and it was clear that when things got started, companies hired a lot more Black workers. And then when they started to let people go, they let go a lot of Black workers. Not much change in that 5-year period, despite all of the effort and all of the focus and everything that happened. It didn't seem to fundamentally change the workforce in a way that it was intended to. That's sort of my take looking at the data.
What's your take, Heather? Are we seeing any evidence that companies are trying to further some of the initiatives that were spelled out explicitly in those DEI programs, but maybe not under the umbrella of DEI?
In some cases, yes. You see, employee groups that are being renamed to sound more inclusive, and in some cases actually are becoming more inclusive. So networks that were intended for Black employees, for women, are now suddenly for everyone.
Bloomberg Radio.
You're seeing words like equality replaced with
they're lamenting diversity officers being laid off.
Balance. The
corporations.
In some cases that's happening. But it's probably more commonplace that you're just seeing more of a wholesale rollback of those kinds of programs. And there are some really influential people weighing in on this stuff. A few months ago, Jamie Dimon at JP Morgan Chase, who talked a lot in 2020 about inclusion and gender specifically, has been sort of at the vanguard among big companies in promoting women in his C-suite and in talking about the issue at different conferences all around the world. He stood up at an employee meeting and said that he realized that when it came to DEI, that the bank was spending money on things that he described as stupid, and said that it really bothered him and that he was going to cancel it. He saw it as wasted money in the bureaucracy. So
January 19th,
how many babies
2026.
get bathwater on this, and
Martin
and
Luther
that's where I
King
think
Day.
the pro DEI movement is really smarting from this stuff. What was this stuff wasteful or not effective? There's probably a few different buckets here.
Us white folks still have to go to work today.
To employees, to companies' customers, whether as a symbol of
Hey, Manny.
something or in some
How much snow you got over there, Manny?
Tangibly important.
Buffalo.
If you look at, for instance, Walmart's
Morning, Hammer.
on promoting
Hammer, you going to work today, right?
Diverse slate of
You're not
people
taking
into
a holiday
managerial
off.
roles, into higher paying roles. The numbers that they've provided show that they did, in fact, over time do that.
Absolutely,
that
man.
arguably has a much more measurable effect on closing.
We have to
for
keep the
instance,
wheels of
income
civilization
tax
turning.
in the
Nobody
United
else will.
States than, say, the $100 million Walmart Center for Racial Equity that it quickly stood up in 2020, right after George Floyd's murder. That was
31 degrees.
The anti-DEI camp pointed to as an exercise in
sodium
woke
chloride,
washing,
etc.,
and,
has been on the road here on the highway. So
employees, I'm sure you can find lots of different
driving's not
perspectives
bad at
on
all.
whether
It
or
is
not that
snowing
was the
here
case, but long story
in central
short, Walmart
Connecticut.
decided last year to no longer.
But today's a good day for me to get caught up at work. I don't have any court to attend. Courts are closed, obviously, so it's a lot of it's a good catch-up day for me to get my desk work done today. Put a major dent in it at least.
Walmart and Robbie Starbuck negotiated their retreat.
About 4 inches. That's not bad, bro. You guys get hammered with that lake effects, I know.
These embarrassing sort of vignettes of the least.
Seems like you get one or two every year
or the ones that were
with several feet.
And the glare of broad.
Man, that's got to be insane for you guys.
Scrutiny to show
out in Buffalo area.
Done under the auspices of DEI, and didn't necessarily paint the full. It did not.
I guess you're used to it, though.
Necessarily the full picture of what was going on in corporate America around trying to be more fair.
Endeavor to persevere.
It showed where these programs had gone off the rails, and.
Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Just doing a quick drive stream here. I wanted to stream to see if how the roads were, and if in case any idiots rear-ended me or sideswiped me, I'd have it on film. That's my primary reason for streaming today.
Companies would seek him out.
But the road here is pretty good. I'm going 65 miles an hour.
Go silent. They would have public proclamations.
Vehicles on the left of me there are probably going 75.
Speaking with Bloomberg Equality reporter Jeff Green and senior editor for management and work Heather Landy. Heather, I wonder if you think
this weekend we got here in Connecticut, central Connecticut, just a couple of inches, maybe 3 inches.
If not for the pressure that we've seen from the likes of Robbie Starbuck and the Trump administration.
I didn't expect it to be snowing this morning, but it is, and
counterfactual.
Not stopping me from going to work.
I would argue that the prevailing feeling among a lot of executives, at least that I
mean, shit, when I was a kid, we used to go to school and this kind of stuff.
Is that even where these programs maybe weren't producing tangible results, the overarching feeling was that they weren't at least hurting anyone. Now, I would argue in the end they did, in fact, hurt the DEI movement.
Okay, Manny, that's
because
good.
The critics were able to point to them as, not being particularly.
Manny, are you retired or are you still working, buddy?
Showing returns, even in a DEI sense. But I don't actually know that we would have seen
I'm about 90% sure I'm going to retire in May this year. Still have some doubts, a little bit here, a little bit there. What if?
Jeff, I want to bring
but
you
everything's lining up for me to retire at end of May this year.
Now to promote more equity.
And I'll be 60. So So
we'll say is like we're going to
I'm going to take that early Social Security. I'm going to buy some cheap dental insurance, some cheap Obamacare or whatever. Cover myself till I get to Medicare age.
Companies have a majority female workforce. So what you're starting to see is even if
Hello,
just saying we're going to promote from within, we're going to do sort of the normal block and tackling without any diversity programs that are sort of
good health, good boy, good buddy.
They're getting an outcome.
Yeah, man, you got to manage your health.
What's the intent of diversity and inclusion in the first place?
Stuff starts breaking down when you're in your 60s.
To work its way through the system.
We did see it.
And so that's my main priority here. I'm running out of time, you know. I want to enjoy the youth of my golden years.
For management and work for Bloomberg News, along with Bloomberg Equality reporter Jeff Green. Thanks as well to Bloomberg's Michael McKee and Anna Wong of Bloomberg Economics, along with UX12's Cameron Dawson and Lori Collins.
I'm sorry, Manny. I'm well. I'm very well. I was saying that I'm planning on retiring in May of this year. I'll be 62 plus several months, so I'm going to take whatever the early Social Security is at that time. Anyway, I used to do these streams in the morning where I'd sit in the car and talk stuff, but you know, it just kind of I stopped for a few weeks and I restarted and I never regained that traction that I had. I had some of those half hour, 40-minute streams that were getting like 1,500, 1,700 views, and then when I came back it was only a couple hundred. So I don't know what I did. I messed up the algorithm by stopping. You know, I got off the hamster wheel, the YouTube hamster wheel, for a couple of weeks, and you know, I didn't bother to continue on. I mean, YouTube is nice. It's nice to chat with people around the world, but it's not any kind of way to make money. I don't think. I mean, there's much better ways of making money offline, in private, without the trolls trolling you and doxing you and you know, in some cases swatting people. I haven't had that experience yet, but you're always on your toes here with this YouTube. A lot of toxic people on YouTube, man. Okay, yeah, I think I remember, man. I remember seeing your name, man. It's good to see you, bro. My lady and I went out to Niagara Falls around the 4th of July this past year. We're blessed with some good weather out there. We stayed there for a few days and saw the falls, drove over into Canada for some dinner, and had a nice time overall. Yeah, Manny, definitely, man. Definitely. Well, so far the drive is no problems. Traffic is very light. Everybody's driving most people are driving a reasonable speed. I am now on a non-commercial vehicle parkway. Speed limit's 55. I'm going a little over that, not quite 60.
This is CBS News. Follow and listen to the official 48 Hours After Show post-mortem on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Nice, Manny, nice. Yeah, first time I went to the falls, parents took me and my brother when I was 14. And I went back several times after that. But I hadn't been there in probably 20 years or so. And so I had a lot of accrued vacation time that I needed to take up. So My lady is retired, and so we worked out a few days where we were able to get away. We drove. We didn't stay on the main roads. We stayed on the back roads in upstate New York, visiting little towns and stuff. So it was a nice little trip we did.
Listen to 48 Hours on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Toronto, yeah.
There's a new report on states.
We were going to try to get out there, but really weren't able to. Something came up where I had to return. We had to return back to the house. I forgot what it was. And so we cut our trip short, but we could have went out to Toronto. I would love to go see a Blue Jays game or Maple Leafs game up there. Even the Toronto Marlies American Hockey League game would be nice to see up there.
Company behind the venue, which has hosted acts from U2, Dead and Company to the Wizard of Oz.
Wings, yeah, the Wings.
Has plans to build a smaller version outside Washington, D.C. Sphere Entertainment has taken the wraps off a mini Sphere on the bank.
Yeah, it's not that far. It's probably about 6 or 7 hours from where we are in Orange County, New York. So it's a nice little trip.
The President Trump reached a red line with his threat to hit NATO allies with additional tariffs, proposing his bid to annex Greenland. Constantly experiencing new provocations, we are constantly experiencing new antagonism, which President Trump is seeking. Here we Europeans.
Anyway, guys,
the limit has been reached.
I am almost at the salt mine, the old job, so I'm going to cut it short here. Don't want to dox myself. This is Connecticut, yes. My lady lives out in Orange County, so I'm over there most weekends, and we're kind of making our plans together, where to stay, either here or there, getting everything arranged. Anyway, guys, have a great day. I got to get out of here and get back to work. Put a dent in the universe, guys. All right, man. Take care. Take care, Manny.